Joining us now is a guy who's played through like 4 different generations of the NFL. He's currently the oldest player in the NFL. Just turned 41 the other day. Happy birthday, ladies and gentlemen. 4-time NFL MVP, Aaron Rodgers.
Hey.
How you doing, brother?
Yeah, doing good, guys. Interesting conversation you're having.
How do you feel about it? Okay, so let's dive into it. Trevor Lawrence obviously ends up getting concussed, and it's one of the scary. It's the lockup one. I forget the name. They have a name.
Yeah.
I forget the name.
Fencing.
There it is. Fencing. It is. I'm learning too much about this, by the way. But the fencing lockup, and then a fight happens. Aziz ends up getting suspended for 3 games now. In the wording of the suspension, they talked about like unsportsmanlike and disregard for safety, and almost attacked him as a person. General manager Nick Caserio comes out and says, "This guy this morning giving back to the community." Aaron, which part do you want to start with? Do you want to start with the quarterback sliding, becoming a protected play? Do you want to talk about the fining structure? You kind of can take this whichever way you like.
Well, I mean, they've already done a lot to support the quarterback and keep the quarterback safe. I mean, the whole game has changed in the last 20 years. It's not the same physicality. There's protected players all over the field. On both sides of the ball, there's no more cutting, right, downfield. That's changed the way that there's been interactions with the toss plays. You've protected the quarterback from basically the knee to the shoulder, make it real difficult on defensive players to know how to even tackle the guy. You've protected players going over the middle. Back then, you didn't go over the middle and throw it. The Ray Lewises and the Urlachers and the Briggs and the E.J. Hendersons and all the guys we played over the years in the NFC North. You had to be careful throwing the football over the middle because those guys are going to get smacked. So now we've encouraged, a lower level standard of play from the quarterback position because you're never worried about throwing the ball down the middle because you're not going to get your guy killed. Then there's a protection outside the pocket. Now it's changed a lot. I think we've lost a lot of physicality. I think we've done some good things for player safety for sure. But I think it's really hard to play defense in those situations. I really feel bad for the college kids who get kicked out of a half or the first half of the next game or 2.5 quarters, if it happens in the first quarter or the second quarter, you get, the entire game, because it's bang, bang plays. You're throwing a ball to a guy, he catches the ball, he ducks, I'm taking an angle. We've talked about this before. I'm taking a shoulder below angle. He ducks it now and getting hit in the head. And that's getting kicked out of the game for that. That's ridiculous. Now, some of these, hits on defense that are called penalties or not called penalties are ridiculous as well. The interpretation of the rules is very hard for the stripes, but it is interesting what they try and.
Can I ask you about quarterbacks?
What gets actually called?
Can I ask you about the quarterback sliding? Because that feels like a big part of it. D'Amico brings it up. I think every defender brings it up whenever they're talking about it. Is there a moment in a quarterback's mind where it's too late to slide, or I want to slide, but maybe I missed the timing window?
Or I want to dive, maybe. I want to possibly dive for the first down, but you're indecision between those two?
Is that a natural thought? Is that in a moment? When are you having that thought,
Well, I mean, back in the day, you always slid really early, and in college, Tedford never let us slide feet first. It was always diving because you were worried about getting drilled like the play that unfortunately happened to Trevor. If you go feet first, but it's tough to play defense. There should be some onus, I think, on the quarterback to slide early. We're pushing it because they like to market where you begin your slide. So if it's close to a first down yardage, you're always trying to kind of push the envelope. But you got to understand what's happening on the other side. Now you don't expect maybe to get smacked, but maybe they should ease the rules a little bit on some of that stuff to maybe deter some of the late slides. Because again, I don't think that Aziz is a dirty player. And you look at his rap sheet of fines in the league. It's not like we're talking about some, it's not like, with late hit, fighting, face mask, roughing the passer, I don't think that's egregious of any nature. Now he's a thumper though. I mean, he can really hit. If you ever watch him on film, you're like, that dude, awesome. If I'm watching film and luckily he didn't play when we played the Texans, but if I was out, I would know where he's number 0, isn't he?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I would know where 0's at, and I don't think I'd be worried about a late slide there. I would slide with plenty of time because he's he's a talented player. But I think some of the rules have really helped for sure, player safety and things that shouldn't be in the league. And some of the rules I think have made it closer to sarcastic ball and have not improved the watching. The viewing experience anymore.
Yeah, the product. I understand. Yeah, because there's a lot of things that just look soft or whatever. And obviously, we don't want to see people fencing on the field. Like, we're at a point where we understand that. But there's a lot happening, and the sport is always going to be violent. And D'Amico came out, and he put the C on them. So he's like, this is my guy. Caserio comes out, same way. Love what their building is doing behind him. But also, I love that the Jacksonville team wanted to fight him. So the whole situation, obviously, hopefully, we learn from it and we move forward. I think D'Amico and Nick Caserio would be pumped about you too. How about you laying a block with your old ass?
Wow.
How about you? Now, granted, you ended up on the ground. The other guy's still good, but you got in the way, made a big time play, made a decision, and
he was on the ground as well. I mean, I thought, he got knocked down by Witherspoon.
Friendly fire.
I said he got knocked down by Witherspoon. He got knocked down by me.
okay.
I was laughing because I went to help him up and he kind of slapped me aside. He didn't want any,
because you're like offensive lineman who gets a pancake, like, let me help you up. And he's like, excuse me, I got hit by somebody else.
No, exactly. But he could have said that as he was getting picked up. He could have said, hey, that wasn't you that knocked me down.
Do you get a tackle for that?
What are you doing? You're getting your head in there. I love that.
Yeah.
You're getting your head in there doing the entire. You felt alive in there? I assume you felt alive in there?
In practice, there was always maybe one guy. It was I could hang back and make sure the end didn't go. Well, I was kind of out in the open there. I mean, there wasn't just one guy, there was two guys.
I love that you did it, though. I love it. You're 40 years old?
Incredible.
Still bringing it.
Yeah.
I was 40 on that day, yeah.
Yes, you were. One last time. Let's see if the 40-year-old could hang. Maybe 41-year-old doesn't take those types of hits. Go ahead, AJ.
Hey, I want to go back to the sliding thing. Is that something you guys ever practice? Is it something that coaches talk about in the offseason? I would imagine they're going to have to address this for these guys going in the offseason.
Well, you don't really talk about it. It's not like we're sliding a whole lot in practice. I can't remember a time, maybe one time in like a move the ball period in like a training camp where we were working on like 4 minute where I might have scrambled and slid in bounds. And I think that could be one time in all the years of practice. It's not something you work on. I've seen some teams do slip and slides for guys who can't slide. I mean, I used to make fun of Matt Flynn because he was kind of a double knee slider.
Soccer
he had a couple real kind of interesting slides over the years. I wish we could get some video of that, but I don't know if there's any out there other than maybe preseason against the Rams the one year. But
what year was that exactly? I don't know if we get a film in that. I don't know if there's any out there except for the Rams preseason 2000. That's what I just heard your brain doing right there.
Yeah, I think it was like 2012 maybe.
You've pulled this up before. This certainly exists. Let's go ahead and get that up there so we can watch it. But the sliding, there are we hear stories like some quarterbacks having to learn how to slide. They're like, this quarterback had.
Well, I think most of us probably played baseball, though. I mean, I guess there's way more focus on being a single sport athlete. But if you played baseball ever, like, you know how to slide. I'm a right foot forward, left knee bent slider, kind of the way I've always been. I think you're kind of one way or the other. AJ's, he's a lefty, so he's probably the other way. But I don't know.
I think I can. Yeah, I think I'm left foot forward. I think I tuck in my right leg.
No, you're both knees, aren't you? Like Matt Flynn, you're doing.
I'm not going like that. Would I'd tear both PCLs in my body if I tried that.
Yeah, Spencer Havner, he was a left foot forward guy too. Big Spanks.
I don't know, Big Spanks. I like that. I soccer slide, left leg back, right leg.
But John Kuhn, he was always face first. He was head first slide. Yeah.
Well, I love that John Kuhn did that. And also, John Kuhn, you were phenomenal on radio, bro.
Yeah, I miss you.
We hope you get back on radio. Obviously, we'd love to chat with you about next season.
I think he should just start his own podcast.
He's got one.
One of that for him. He's got one.
Yeah, Brick and Stick. Him and Schneidman got a podcast together.
Yeah.
Come on, Aaron.
Aaron, you knew that.
Obviously, great minds think alike.
Okay, let's talk about this season with you and the New York Jets as we try to find the Matt Flynn double knee slide. Coach Brick came out and said you're a starter, okay? And that's an interesting situation. Obviously, that's even taking place, but that's happening because of all the reports and yada, yada, yada that is taken. Where are you mentally at with this season with the New York Jets, and how are you framing the rest of the way here?
I just want to finish off as well as we can. It's been a rough season. A lot of opportunities to win games that we didn't get the job done in the fourth quarter. Some of those games were won and lost in maybe the first, second, and third quarter, if you go back to some of the important impact plays, which, again, was the case on Sunday. But, when you have a chance to win the fourth quarter and you come up short, it's always a little extra disappointing. But listen, we get paid for 17 weeks, not 10, not 11, not 5. So if you're the starter, you want to play all the games. So that's how I feel. I want to be out there with my guys and battle as long as I feel healthy. Body feels as good as it felt, whether fortunately or unfortunately for the situation. Body feels great. I want to be out there. I want to be out there with the guys. I want to battle. I have a lot of pride in playing. One of my goals this year coming back from the Achilles was to play all 17 games. I assume that would be 17 plus whatever playoff games we played in. Obviously, that hasn't been the case this year. But we still got 5 games left, and would love to be out there battling with the guys.
Okay, so everything you were feeling last year when you were away from the team and rehabbing and trying to come back quicker than ever before, obviously we have an announcement to make at the end of the show, and there's going to be a lot more insight on that than I think any of us could have imagined. But I think you missed the game, right? You missed the boys. And this weekend, when that kickoff return goes to the house and they have a shot of you on the sideline with smelling salts and then going crazy, and although the season hasn't gone the way, you still feel, about football the way that has kind of driven you throughout your entire football career at this old-ass age? You're the oldest guy, obviously.
Yeah, well, Big Dog's pretty close to me, too. I think Big Dog is about to be 40 as well. So he's, in the 5th decade of our lives here. But his job physically is much more difficult than mine. But I still love football. Always have. Always will. Been obsessed with it since I was 6 years old. Watching Joe Montana and then Steve Young and then Barry Sanders and Brett Favre and my favorite players, and dreaming about playing on Sundays. And when I got in the league, I didn't think I was going to be playing 20 plus years. I was just kind of hoping to get 5. I thought that'd be cool, 5 years in the league. And then when I got to 5, I was like, 8 would be really cool, like 8 years. Like that's like a nice career. And then got to 8, and I said, anything after 10 is great. And then you kind of get into this, and you're like, I can keep doing this, and you get a little smarter, and you figure out how to, get your body where it needs to be, and you little, hacks with the diet and sleeping and meditation and off-season workouts and mental clarity and visualization, all different things that kind of allow you to stick around for a while. And I loved every minute of it. And this has been something really, really special in my life. And, as much as the game is given me just about everything in my life currently with the status and money and fame and notoriety and connections, at the end of the day, the most important thing are the relationships. I've talked about it many times. This game has given me my family. The people that are with me. It's given me best friends and god kids and people who've stepped in different roles in my life that I needed at various times. Showed up for me as parents, as uncles, as brothers, as friends, as confidants, and I'm really thankful for the game, and that's the stuff you take with you. And that's what I, figured out at Cal. Was reminded at Cal how important those relationships are. They stick with you for a long time, and that's my message to the guys. Is even in a season where there's been a lot of frustration, like if you just turn it off and you just take your mind elsewhere when you're at work, you're gonna miss out on the great opportunities to connect with your teammates and conversations that could make a difference in your life down the road or make a difference in somebody else's life. So that's what I'll be looking for. Still love the game, and just want to finish this season out the right way.
Yeah, watching you celebrate like a little kid was cool. That was a really cool moment to watch you on the sideline, especially in this season. And here's to the lads. It's always about the lads.
Amen.
Isn't it? Always about the lads. Legitimately, forever. All those moments. I've been a part of a losing season, and man, that year, it is hard to find the silver lining. But the lads, coming together and having a win, a big-time win, is obviously something that carries you to the next week, and the fan base is feeling and hoping for the same thing. There are some football outcomes that you can affect what's going on in other places. Go ahead, Con Man.
Yeah, Aaron, is it kind of like a silver line that you guys can still play spoiler to, the Dolphins' playoff chances and also the Bills getting the 1 seed? Is that something that is still kind of a motivator in the building and for you to play that kind of role going forward?
Well, I don't know, Connor. I mean, I think we're all we got to be self-motivated. I think there's a lot of inspiration that can be drawn from whatever it is that we can do on the field. But I think first and foremost, there should be, just a real base level of motivation that comes from being a professional. Because being a professional in this job is not a sometime thing. It's an all-the-time thing, and it's really a 365-day-a-year job, 66 in the leap years.
Good call. Everybody forgets about that day.
We're currently in. Yes, we're currently in that.
Everybody forgets about it.
But it's an all the time thing. And on top of that, being a pro is that your habits stay the same. So you're doing the little things, because I think what people forget sometimes is that there's always people watching, and especially with the situation we're in, with our GM relieved and our head coach relieved and interim head coach, everything is being watched at all times. And so the habits that you're going to let go or you might not think are as important because we're out of it and we don't have a chance, it says a lot about you. This business is about people. It's a people business. People talk, different teams. And you're always auditioning for somebody, whether it's to your own team to get another contract or to get more responsibility or to get, become the face of the franchise at some point, or whether it's for some people that are at this organization, they're going to go somewhere else and tell stories about who you are, because ultimately that's all you can take with you. So I hope we remember that these last 5 weeks. I hope we have pride when we take the field, because we've got a lot to play for. We've got a lot of friendships, a lot of special people in the organization to play for and to do things the right way. And, it's seasons like this sometimes that can build for the future, because you always remember how guys reacted in adverse times, or when some people would just want to throw in the towel and say, hey, shit's over. Let's just get to the fucking off season. That goes a long way. When you get into those grooves and you're winning and on the march to the playoffs, and then you face adversity, you kind of remember how guys reacted in those moments and who you can count on in those battles. It's pretty evident.
Who you are some of the times, who you are all the time, and how you do anything is how you do everything. That old adage, but it's very real, especially in that particular.
It's the truth.
Yep, agreed. I completely agree. And I think there are people that forget, hey, still profession, still jobs, still year after this year, there's dreams, aspirations for not only this team, but life. I'm excited for that, the way to watch, kind of how you guys close this thing out. It's going to be very telling. Because what is the future over there? Do you know?
I think there's a few different avenues that happen. And one of them is, kind of the whole thing getting kind of blown up. We got a lot of guys on one year deals. So the whole team could look different. Front office could look different. Coaching staff could look different. So young guys maybe don't understand that, who you are, how you got the team. That's part of an old regime now. New regime comes in, you're auditioning. You're auditioning for the new regime. I mean, I think we all who played on the panel here can agree with that. When a new regime comes in, it's different, because they want to bring in their own energy, their own style, their own philosophy, and you got to fit in. They're not fitting into you. You got to fit into that new thing. So there's going to be auditions for everybody that wants to be a part of the Jets next year.
I was told I didn't draft you. I have zero loyalty to you. In negotiation, I was told that. I'm like, damn, okay. I thought I'd done a lot for maybe the team and the town and the community and the city, but yeah, I guess. All right, if that's how you view, but that's reality, a situation.
That's reality.
That is, and they have a vision of how they want that team to look, how they want that team to do, and whether you're a part of it or not is obviously up to them, but you can showcase a lot whenever you're wrapping up a year like this. Go ahead, AJ.
Have you thought about whenever you are done playing, have you thought about any more getting into the media, watching Tom and Tony on there call games? Is that something you ever could see yourself doing at any level?
One of the things I really love about you and I love about this show, Abe, is that you can sit there with your fake books behind you.
Whoa.
What?
You know, and your Gatorade cup between your legs.
To urinate, we know that.
And you can ask me a question that's a rhetorical question, Woodcock, because you already know the answer to that. But you can ask it straight faced to try and get people to think that I'm going to give a new answer. That's what I fucking love about you.
That's why we love it. That's why we love them.
Don't ever change, bro. The answer is no. I will not.
Why?
For now, maybe.
Great
Question.
Great question. I can't wait to sidebar with you later about this.
Oh, you guys are going to sidebar?
You come on here and speak. It'd be the same thing, just on whatever network calling a game.
Be in a suit?
Yeah, your sweet suit, some tassels, some necklaces.
Listen,
what?
After this thing is done, you're not gonna see me. You'll see me maybe in Tahoe. You'll see me if I ever go back to Green Bay. In 4 or 5 years, and then that's about it.
Are you gonna have a sweet beard like Letterman? Remember Letterman?
Oh yeah,
Jim Carrey.
Yeah, Jim Carrey. What he used on
Rick Rubin.
Rick Rubin. He's always looked like that. But all these guys, like when they disappear, they have this full transformation, and then they show up. Are you gonna have you thought about your look yet? What it's gonna be?
It's not gonna be that. I can promise you that.
Are you gonna be 400 pounds? Or are you gonna be like 150? Are we going?
I mean, I think D-Bach is going to be close to 400, and I'll be close to 200.
Jeez. Bakhtiari taking shots on the chins on a Tuesday. It's a beautiful thing. D-Butt has a question for you, Aaron.
Yeah, you kind of just mentioned new regime coming in, and this is not about the Jets, but a place like Chicago. A new regime coming in, you're keeping the GM, but a new head coach. Building around that young quarterback, you play for offensive coaches, you play for defensive coaches. What will be your mindset building around a quarterback like that, who I would expect will be the last guy out of the building that you could throw under the bus or move forward from? So how would you go? Is it an offensive-minded coach? Is it a leader of men type guy who isn't calling plays? How would you go about that, building an organization or building a team around a young quarterback going forward?
Well, that relationship is going to be really, really important. If you think he's the face of the franchise and the future of the franchise for the next decade plus, they need somebody who can come in and work with him and connect with him on a personal level. I think every young quarterback, whether we want to admit it or not, we want to be coached really badly. We don't have all the answers. We'd love somebody to hold us accountable. My favorite coaches, the coaches you want to play for the best, were always the ones that that held you to a crazy level. I tell the story a lot about Tom Clements and how he used to give me minus performances on 100 quarterback rating games. And I got so mad. I just wanted to kind of like show him, that I could, play that perfect game that he was holding me to the level that he was holding me. And I just loved him for that because he made me want to play great for him because I just wanted that smile, that rare Tom Clements smile that was like, hey, good game. Plus performance, because it was just his binary, his plus or minus performance, and it was semi-arbitrary according to me. But he always held me to such a high standard. I think that's what a young quarterback needs, and I don't think I think you need some stability. The other thing I'm going to say is really, really important. D-Bud, I'm glad you set me up for this question. I think there has to be a movement, and I thought there would be, before I go on that tangent, I thought there would be when the ownership came out and said it's unacceptable that there's, however $100 million being paid out to coaches that aren't coaching anymore. Right, or personnel people.
800, I think. I think it was 800 million.
Yep.
700 or 800 million. Yeah.
So what I'm saying, I think, is there needs to be a return to hiring the right person, at general manager, at head coach, and then allowing them to do their job with full backing from the organization. I think there's a lot to that. And I will cite an example of the Detroit Lions and say that they've done it the right way, right? So when Detroit, when Dan came in, MCDC, the first year they were, what was the record, Foxy?
They were 0-10 to start.
0-10.
To start, yeah.
Okay, 0-10 to start, right? Then the second year they started off the season
1-6
after 7 games, 1-6, right? And then do you remember what the sentiment was from the organization? What they said?
I just know that they said keep it going.
They said, "Who's the GM in Detroit?"
Brad Holmes.
Forgive me. Yeah, they said he's our GM and MCDC is our head coach. And since that statement was made, and again, you can fact check me on this, whether it was week 8 or around that time, they have won a crazy amount of games. They finished the 22 season on a high, went 9-8. They came back last year and did what? They were 13-4 or something like that.
Yep.
And then they're 11-1 this year. Am I right?
Yep.
I can tell you that there's that's not a coincidence. I don't believe in coincidence, but that's not a coincidence that happened, and then you've seen this shift, because that's the energy that goes around a building when the fucking head coach is on the hot seat, and maybe the quarterback is on the hot seat, or the GM's on the hot seat, or any of the kind of the main, out there important pieces in kind of the media mind, and the ownership can say, hey, this is what we're doing. I don't give a shit about what your opinion is or what's going on. This is the process. We believe in MCDC. We believe in the GM. We believe in Jared Goff. Whatever the statements was, that goes a long way. And I think any organization would be smart to think about that, especially Chicago. And listen, I played in their rival for 18 years. And so I saw a lot of change down there over the years.
You're their landlord.
You got to hire the right people, and then you got to empower them, and then you got to let them be and support them until such time comes that you don't see the growth that you need. But to change a culture, to change a program takes time. Mm-hmm. And it takes patience. And a lot of ownership around the league doesn't have the patience to let that thing go through. Now, there are certain situations, and I'll let you go, there are certain situations where after a year, you see issues that are just not fixable. Or maybe you see things that didn't come out in an interview that you just don't like. Or maybe there's off-the-field stuff that you don't like I'm talking about from the upper levels. And you got to make a change. I understand that. But for the most part, whether it's a quarterback development or a team development under a new coach, they need time to do that. But way more important than that, and trust me when I say this, way more important than that, they need the backing of the ownership. Because when that backing is out there, and I'm not talking about privately, I'm talking about privately and publicly, it changes the energy of the entire team.
Change the energy of the entire team. It changes the way the team is talked about too. Yep. And who you're mentioning up there is Sheila Ford Ham.
Exactly.
Because the Lions weren't like that. Remember, Jim Caldwell had success. Let's get him the hell out of here.
Dahn.
And then Matt Patricia comes in. It's not good. Get him the hell. Like Sheila Ford Ham came in, and I think she's the one that's been the most publicly backing of MCDC and Brad Holmes from draft night 1. Through the entire process, right?
Exactly. It was Sheila Fordham, Chris Spielman, and they gave MCDC, I think, a 5 or a 6 year contract right away, and everyone said that is way too long, but it just shows that they were going to do something different, and they were going to have MCDC's back, have Brad Holmes back, and Aaron, to your point, when they started out 1-6 in his second season, you said there was a breaking point. The Lions and the Chiefs have the most amount of wins since that moment. So, yeah, it's just that's what it is. It's a full-on support of the team.
Get out. Now it's Super Bowl or we're the worst team in football, right?
Exactly.
Now we win a Super Bowl or we're having a...
But that's what you want. And then you change the entire energy, you change the narrative. And I promise you that it wasn't fucking just some random thing that happened. They didn't just click it in. That energy is contagious, and there's no coincidences. When that happened, it changed the whole thing.
You've said that a couple times. You think everything happens for a reason, obviously?
I didn't say that. I just said there's no coincidences.
So everything's planned?
I didn't say that either.
Are we being controlled?
I don't know. You tell me. So coincidence is something just happening, right? Just a happenstance taking place without any preconceived setup or structure. It's just a coincidence takes place that really potentially goes, oh, that's quite a coinky dink. So what do you don't think that happens?
This little wink from the universe.
Oh, okay. You think it's like, I don't want to get into the whole thing here, but universe.
Yeah, you're starting to though.
A lot going on in universe right
Universe is pretty active right now.
Yeah, it is.
Hey, pretty active right now. The universe. I don't know. Other universes too getting pretty nosy. Huh?
Yeah.
Getting pretty nosy, seemingly with our universe. The whole
lot going on.
There is.
You tell them.
There is a lot going on. All right, let's get back to football.
Yeah.
You were a part of something that was a weapon, I think, for the Green Bay Packers for a long time. That frozen tundra is a thing in of itself. With college ball happening, and also NFL football happening these later months, it is a conversation that's getting very loud. Tone has a question for you.
Yeah, Aaron, we saw the Frozen Thunder host the Miami Dolphins on Thanksgiving Eve, and then we saw the Bills host the Niners in a snow globe on Sunday night. And obviously you playing there forever and then playing outside for the Jets. Is there anything these like warm weather teams or dome teams can do besides, or prepare yourself for the cold just besides just being out there and just being in it all the time? Is there anything that these teams can do? And it's definitely an advantage for these cold weather outdoor teams, right?
I mean, I always thought so. I always thought that the pass rush slowed down, that it was easier for teams to quit when it was really cold. And so starting fast was a premium. You got up on a team, and a lot of times you could kind of start to make them fold a little bit. Now, there was always a surge, I felt like, in the third quarter. Regardless of what happened in the first half, there'd be like that, they go to halftime, they'd warm up, they'd be like, fuck it, all right, let's go. Let's have a third quarter. But you got to kind of withstand that third quarter. And I think you saw that a little bit in the Packer-Miami game, right? They put together at least one drive or two drives, a couple drives in the second half. But J-Lo and the boys, kind of held on the football and ran the ball, and he had a good night throwing it, and they put him away. But I always felt like it was a big advantage when a warm weather team or dome team was coming to Lambeau, and I always wanted, man, give me that sweet spot like 30 to 10, like from 10 to 30. Really 10 to 20 was just absolutely perfect because it was cold enough, wasn't going to rain. And it was kind of right in that where they're kind of miserable and you're right on the edge of like that mindset, like, damn, it's cold out here. It's like, no, it's not bad. Not bad.
That was when you used to put out those long jaunts.
That's right, yeah.
You'd have those long jaunts.
The Dickie on too.
Yeah, everybody knew. Aaron Rodgers and that Dickie was a different animal.
Mm-hmm.
We'd see warm-ups. We'd actually be waiting to place our bets. You'd come jogging out there in that long john looking thing, Dickie, and it's like,
boom.
This
Here we
is a Packers.
go.
This is a Packers night. 10 to 30, 10 to 20. I think we could up that to 15. I think that could be 15 to 25.
No, 10 was nice. 10 was good. 10
Just
to,
keep the wind
10
down.
to 20.
As long as there's no wind.
chill.
Yeah, but Green Bay's always windy, isn't
Wind's
it?
a big difference.
Isn't Green Bay? No.
No, that's Chicago. Yeah.
That Windy City. But I think that was actually on the flip-flop. If you go back into there's actually a flip-flop, which right now,
Second city.
A lot going on. There's a lot going on in the world that we're in. Every time I've been in Green Bay, it's been breezy, though. It's not always breezy. That's why I always thought it was like such a terrible place if you had to kick, not just only the cold. I thought it was always kind of breezy there. Not the case, I guess.
No, not always. I mean, I don't know. I'd have to ask John about it. He's kind of the expert of all things Green Bay now. So maybe hit up JK, see if it's still breezy there or not.
I like you saying, I don't even want to give an answer because if I give an answer, I'm going to get a text from somebody saying, "Oh, you're an expert. You're the Doppler expert on."
I mean, I've done a little bit of research on the weather patterns over Green Bay over the years, but not a weatherman.
You're not a full Doppler like Joe DiNardo or John Coon, obviously. Let's take a step away from football. Let's talk about life. Ty has a question for you.
Yeah, Aaron, around your birthday every year, it's always a good time for prayer and reflection.
Yep.
Amen.
Just curious, football or otherwise, what do you think the biggest takeaway you had from your 40th trip around the sun as you look forward to year 41 here?
Hell yeah.
Oh man, I think it was the best year of my life, for sure. I mean, last year I posted something about, I can't remember what it was like one of those little internet sayings, and it was something about feeling more alive than you've ever felt before and more heartbroken than you've ever felt before in the same year, and that's kind of what 2023 was. But 2024 was a grind, physically for sure. I mean, the work to just get back onto the field, and then obviously dealing with a couple of little issues I've had this season. But it's been a really beautiful year, and I don't have any regrets about coming to New York. In fact, I'm so thankful. If I hadn't come to New York, my life wouldn't look the way it does now. And I was thinking about that, like how many beautiful blessings have come into my life since being a Jet. And there's a lot of them. People, experiences, memories. But just there's so many individuals that work in the building that I never would have met. I would have gone my life without getting to to meet and get to know, Solomon Thomas, to be locker mates with Tack McKinley and Tyron Smith, and get to have great conversations with those guys, to be able to play with Morgan Moses, who's one of the realest dudes I've ever stepped on the field with, just an absolute G, just a stud, a warrior. To be able to make jokes with Will McDonald every day, to be able to watch Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall and Jermaine Johnson and Sauce Gardner as they start their, what should be, epic long careers is really cool. To be able to be in the same locker room with Thomas Morstead, a longtime vet, and to watch him in his silly little running after he punts the ball and his crazy ass workouts and schedule he does, his CrossFit stuff. But just to tap in with him, every single day is really special. To be able to share a room with Tyrod Taylor, one of the coolest, smoothest dudes I've ever been around. I never would have got to know these guys in this way. I never would have got to be around Todd Downing and Nathaniel Hackett in this way again, and get to know Robert Saleh on a personal level, and get to know Jeff Ulbrich and his family, and Robert and his family, and get to hang out and play catch with his kid Adam and Jackson and Junior's kid, and have the handshakes and just all the things I experienced, man. It would my life would be completely different, and I promise you, not as full and not as rich if I hadn't gotten traded here and been on board with this happening. Obviously, it's been a lot of ups and downs, but damn, I'm really thankful for this time and this journey. And man, whatever happens, again, I'm open to everything and attached to nothing, but thankful for the journey.
Open to anything, attached to nothing. That has been kind of the mindset about the future. What you just said there was a beautiful recap of the last trip around the sun for you. But breaking news, there's going to be a docuseries about Aaron Rodgers, I believe over the last year or year and a half, on Netflix, dropping December 17th.
Oh, here we go.
It is titled Enigma. It is about Aaron Rodgers, and we have an exclusive trailer right now.
Oh, shit, do you really?
Yeah.
Oh, good one.
Yes. I live between two worlds of the extroverted 1, 2, 3, dominate! And an introverted lover of silence. I'm trying to beat back Father Time and the expectations.
Aaron Rodgers ain't for everybody.
Rodgers has shared controversial and crazy conspiracy theories.
It just feels like you're either for him or against him.
Losing friendships, family, it was heartbreaking.
Here come the Jets. Rodgers has something to prove. It is on. Protection breaks down, goes Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers has officially tore his Achilles.
It's catastrophic.
Is it time for him to retire?
What does the future hold for Aaron Rodgers?
I'm coming back to do it all. What's the risk of playing? That's not normal. People getting to see behind the curtain.
Have you thought about going into politics?
Once I started my spiritual journey, everything shifted. The metamorphosis is happening.
Most people are not doing the walking.
I'm not most people. I'm trying to find what a new edge is. There's football legacy.
Rodgers, a touchdown!
And then there's character legacy.
It was gonna be the big dog with me!
When that ride comes to a stop, who are you gonna be?
Hey, that's going to be sweet. And just like I say at the end of every single season for Aaron Rodgers Tuesday, thank you for allowing us to go alongside you for another year, another season. Thank you for allowing the world to get a chance to see your life in opening up and doing this docuseries. Are you excited? Are you pumped? Are you nervous? What are the thoughts as December 17th, that debut is about to happen?
Yeah, I mean, I'm thankful for the last year. When Gotham reached out after I got hurt, we had a good conversation, and it was fun to have him along for the ride, and Liam and Sarah and some really amazing people I got to meet along the way. It chronicles a lot of the rehab. It chronicles a trip down to Costa Rica where we did ayahuasca. There's some great back backstory stuff, from my 18 years in Green Bay and some interesting interviews. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty wide open. Just talking about all different types of topics, in the episodes, and yeah, it was definitely vulnerable to open up and allow them to be around and to take them to some of these things. But yeah, I'm excited. I haven't seen like the final cuts or anything, but I'm thankful for the people I met in the process, and that there's this history of kind of the most difficult and the most rewarding year of my life, kind of now to go back and look at in 20 years.
Well, we appreciate you doing it. We can't wait to watch it. Shout out to the whole team at Religion of Sport, NFL Films, and everybody else that has collabed. I think Skydance is even in there.
A lot of collabs. Yeah, a lot of collabs.
Well, once again, there's NFL footage in it, so NFL Films is certainly going to be like, let's make sure this passes the sniff test real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not doing any of that. But congrats on that. I can't wait to watch it. I know a lot of us can't wait to see.
How the hell are you going to watch it? You're the busiest human being in the world. You ain't going to watch it.
So I'll download it on
Is there a Cliff Notes for it?
No. I'll watch it. There's 3 episodes, I believe, right? If I'm learning right. 3 episodes. I'll download it before we get on a plane. I don't know if you've been having this issue, how much you've been traveling. Internet on planes hasn't been working as of late.
It's been tough.
It's been Sky. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, there is.
So I don't know if it's just our plane or what the hell is going on. So I would download it. I would definitely watch it. I can't wait to learn more about
You're saying there could be some interference in the sky.
Everywhere, actually.
What's causing that?
I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot of. I don't know. Let's keep our eyes peeled, though. Okay.
Ever doing a Dave Matthews song?
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate the hell out of you, man. Good luck the rest of the way. We'll talk to you next week. Happy birthday, brother.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
Hey, they don't make documentaries about fucking nobodies, especially people that don't know how to hold phones. Ladies and gentlemen, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.